Greetings, peace and love. This video is about dealing with trauma, what trauma is in a spiritual form, and why we need to heal from trauma, how it clouds your perception, how spirits interact and deal with your mind through trauma. So, let me see, how do I start this video out? Let's talk about trauma as related to ancestry and understand that physically you can be in a place of, and mentally in a place of trauma based upon events that happened before you ever even existed on the planet. Karma can be brought back to you on a cellular level. A lot of times karma is not just karma, thought processes, cycles that are hard to be broken. These energies come to you from, events that happen in your lineage from in the past. A lot of them do. And what happens is that a lot of your ancestors that pass away, they never resolve any of those issues, any of those habits, or any of those energies that cause your ancestry to go in a bad direction. And not to mention slavery and things like that. All those energies are recorded by the blood. So understanding your trauma could manifest into your physical life, and you wonder why all these things happen and why this ain't going right. Well, a lot of times, in a lot of cases, this energy is it is reincarnated with you. It's brought back into your lineage through you, because you have the opportunity to transcend some of the mistakes, some of the behaviors that your ancestors had. Trauma is a very, very deep thing, because trauma leaves, new experiences of trauma leave holes in your aura, holes in your energy field, which allow other energies to operate within your being. People call them demons, walk-ins, old ancestral spirits, but a lot of these energies come into your vessel and can confuse your mind. And a lot of times, if your spiritual energy is very low, if your life force is very low, these energies will literally take over you. And you don't understand the way that, if you don't understand the way the spirits communicate with you, they communicate through your mind. So a lot of time you hear these voices will talk to you, tell you this is wrong, this ain't right. And for the most part, they'll mislead you into certain cycles that become like a repetitive cycle that you always end up in. You don't understand how you got there. So it's important to understand trauma. Sometimes it is ancestral, and why it's important for you to start communicating back with your ancestors, because trauma is definitely something that will create more trauma. And a lot of times in this world, we go through a lot of situations that seem to be very painful, but they're also physical manifestations of something that happened before you. And also, there's the universe or the world or your family is requesting that you change that particular behavior. And because you don't change that behavior, you keep bitterness in your mind, bad physical thoughts, or this happened to me, that happened to me. Those energies become you. You become polarized in those ideals and those thoughts. You attract those particular situations to you frequently, all the time. So, understanding that the cycles have to be broken, or you will continue to suffer, because all energy is meant to be refined, and a lot of us are born to heal and fix our ancestry, but a lot of us don't take the call to even attempt to do that. We want to live our lives. Besides it, the way the economy moves, corporate America, the way that you have to manage your money and maintain your money is a difficult thing, trying to balance that as well. So you got to keep pace with that, and every chance you get, you got to dive into your own energy and figure out why you think the way you think, why you feel the way you feel. And throughout the midst of paying bills and being a parent, you got to somehow try to transcend those energies, which can become very difficult. So I say that, either finding a partner to deal with your trauma, looking for people who deal with trauma, like rebirthing, therapy, Reiki, um, spiritual baths from indigenous technology. All these things are things that help you begin to refine your being and fix your ancestry. A lot of people think that, you come into the physical world, that you work in the physical world to change the spiritual world. You do, but it's actually the opposite. You work in the spiritual world to change what's going on in the physical world. And some of your traumas, remember, are recorded into your cellular structure, your cell structure, the same way alcoholism is passed down. It's recorded into your bloodline. So you inherit these habits, these thought processes, and these energies that can be very destructive towards your life, your family's life, your spouse or your husband, your wife's life. And they have to be worked with like on a cellular level, which is dealing with like Buddhism, chants and mantras. They say that some traditions, well, even science says that in order for you to change something on a cellular level, it would take sound. Sound and vibration is how you transcend certain cellular behaviors or to alter the cell structure. So that's why the Buddhism, they came up with the chants and the mantras, because some things can't be healed through talking. Now you can talk about it, but some things can be healed on a spiritual level where you're dealing with your ancestry. And through a ritual process, you begin to fix and heal those things. And it's a long process. But my point today is that trauma is a big thing in the black community. Molestation, rape, these are common conversations that you'll come across in our community. So it's something that we have to deal with, and I would say bring it out on the table. And one of the best things you can find in this world is someone who's willing to heal with you, someone who's willing to go through that process to transcend those energies. And in more cases than none, some people refuse to deal with the trauma, deal with the things that are keeping them in this repetitive cycle in bad relationships or whatever it may be. And sometimes finances and money can make you override and overlook that thing. That's why you have such a high suicide rate and with people who have money, and you have a lot of unhappy people with money. Just because you're educated doesn't mean you're consciously evolved. Like a doctor who smokes cigarettes, intelligent but not consciously aware. You're doing surgery on people who have cancer, but you're smoking cigarettes, and you're supposed to be high society or high money. So my point is that you have to begin to evolve and go through the darkness, which I call the Egyptians call the dark night of the soul. You can be sitting in a room with 10 people and 5 of those people are in a totally different state than you, which means that their spirit is locked in a certain frequency on the planet, which represents what the Egyptians would call the Duat, or the underworld, or the Bardos in Tibetan Buddhism. But your spirit can be in a dark place, can be in darkness, immersed, emerged, or submerged in darkness. At the same time, you're sitting by someone who's completely spiritually healthy, who don't have the same struggles as you. So we can be sitting in the same place, but in a totally different place spiritually. So your soul, the trauma will take you into your own underworld, your own subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind and energies of the earth, which will attract what you're polarized in. If it's anger, bitterness, if it's something about yourself that is insecure, or if you're fearful of, it'll bring situations to you to challenge those energies. And it's just like the lotus flower rising from the murky waters. You have to rise from the murky waters and blossom. So most people don't. A lot of people don't. A lot of people stay in the darkness of their own soul, of their own subconscious mind. But you have to submerge from it. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. We come down here and to shed these behaviors, shed these energies that enslave our spirit, pretty much. So deal with your trauma. Look for these healing modalities. There's a lot of people out there who specifically work on dealing with trauma, and it's not just molestation, rape. It's verbal abuse, spousal abuse. it's racism, it's loss of a loved one. These are all energies that they become a part of you, but you definitely have to work on transcending those energies. And I think that's it for today on trauma. But I hope that this video reaches someone and gets them to reach out for help, to start even, dealing with people who's into working with energy, getting new friends, to raising your spiritual energy, your conscious energy to a higher vibrational frequency. Hopefully this video can get you to get on the right path and get out there, because we definitely need it. There's a lot going on in the world. I see a lot of hurt people. I see a lot of people who are lost, completely lost. I see a lot of people whose spirit is in the underworld of the planet, where you're experiencing having totally bad experiences. No ecstasy, all painful experiences. And I hope that we can transcend some of those energies and some of those behaviors. All right. Peace and love.